B7, 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 B7. Hey everybody, Gary here with Guitar Tricks, and in this video we're going to go over a few different ways you could play the B7 chord. Before we get into the lesson, please go ahead and click subscribe so that you get all the latest and greatest content from Guitar Tricks, and if you want to be notified of any new lesson, be sure to tap the bell. So what's great about B7 is you could play it as an open chord, and B7 is what we call the 5 chord in the key of E. So if you're playing in the key of E, you might often encounter a B7 chord. It's also used in an E blues, where we might go from E7 to A7 to B7. So the open way, in my opinion, is actually, even though it seems easier because we don't have to bar, it's a 4-finger chord. It's a bit of a finger cluster, especially down on the 1st and 2nd fret where the spacing of the strings is most narrow. So for me, it's not the default voicing. My main voicing would either be this one, or this one, or even just the middle 4 strings without that highest note, which to me makes the chord twice as difficult. So let's talk about some of the options. So this default way that you'll see it the most is we take our 2nd finger, put it on the 2nd fret of the A string, our middle finger, index on the 1st fret of the D string, ring finger, 2nd fret of the G string, open B string. Now that by itself is a great way to play the chord, and a lot of times that's all you hear. Want to get all the strings involved besides the low E, which we're going to mute with the tip of our middle finger or our thumb. Then we put our pinky on the 2nd fret of the high E. Now this chord's kind of like a game of operation where you have to avoid touching adjacent strings, right? So you just want to push all your fingertips straight into the fretboard at a 90-degree angle. It's actually great for working on that, this chord. Make sure they all ring out. So that's the first way to play this chord. Second way comes from our A-shaped bar chord. If we think about an A7 down here, if we just slide it up 2 frets, imagine our finger was barring and there was no nut there. Then we have this, and then now we move the bar as well. And the way that works, we just bar the 2nd fret, I pull my elbow in and I do a bit of a twist, get the side of that 1st finger. This gives me a little more wiggle room, drop the wrist, thumb straight up and down on the back, like that. And then I take 3rd finger, ring finger on the 4th fret of the D string, and pinky on the 4th fret of the B string. So what I end up with fret-wise is 2, 4, 2, 4, 2. 2, 4, 2, 4, 2. Cool, right? Okay. So we've got this, we've got this. Now this way, I love this little voicing. This one we got the root on the G string on the 4th fret. And we just bar the 4th fret with our 1st finger on strings 1, 2, 3, 4. And we put our 2nd finger down on the 5th fret on the high E string. And there's our B7. Now just so you guys realize, a 7th chord, it's just a major triad with a flat 7 or a minor 7. And it's an interesting chord. It only occurs naturally once in a key as the 5 chord. There's no other dominant 7 chords in a major or minor key that are naturally occurring. And it also contains what we call a tritone, or a diminished 5th, between the major 3rd and the minor 7th. So it's got an interesting sound. It's the basis for the sound of the blues, and it's often used as a resolving chord back to the 1. So in the key of E major, B7 is the 5 chord. So it has that resolution. All right, so that's a nice easy one. Then we got the movable one, starting with a low E string root, B on the 7th fret. If we play just a B bar chord, so a regular B major bar chord would be 7th fret, 9th, 9th, 8th, 7th, 7th. So we bar that first finger, and then we do this E major shape, because this is an E major shape bar chord. Just slide that E major up. But now we let go of our pinky. And that gives us from the root down to the flat 7th, the dominant, that makes it a dominant 7 chord. So we have root, 5th, flat 7, 3rd, 5th, root. Nice, right? And a lot of jazz folks will play it like this. They'll skip over the A string and get rid of the bar, which would be index, skip over the A, middle, same fret, skip over the G, ring finger, same fret, and then with the pinky, grab the major 3rd, which is on the 8th fret of the G string. And we just mute that A in this whole mess of fingers and the E. Okay, next way is with a D string root. So D string 9th fret, index finger, ring finger 11th fret on the G, middle finger on the B, 10th fret, pinky on the 11th fret of the E. Very comfortable voicing, no bar or anything. And then the last one I did was the same as the first one, up an octave higher. But now, because we don't have that open B string, we've got to add in that note on the 12th fret of the B string. So the way this one ends up looking is 14 with the ring finger on the A string, 13 with the middle finger on the D string, 14 with the pinky on the G, 12 on the B with the index, and then that's it. And we don't hit the high E or the low E, we want to mute those out. And this is the C7 shape, because, you know, in open position, if we were going to play a C7, it would look like that. So that's it. We got this one, this one, this one, which you could play like this, 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 and this. All right, everybody, I hope that gave you some different ideas on how to play a B7 chord. So what's great is sometimes when you're playing rhythm guitar, just switching from, say, like, it gives it some variation, and no matter what area in the fretboard you're in, you'll be able to find your B7 chord. Happy playing, have fun with this stuff, and I'll see you in the next lesson.